Aloha, welcome, guys. Yes, it's not Wednesday. Your calendars are correct. It is Thursday, but we got our panel just the same. It's been a busy, busy week, and we decided let's push this to today so we can do some more updates and give a certain person's voice a little rest and give me an extra day to do some looking around at things. So let me first bring up our dear Sleuth Mom. Hello, 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 Sleuth. How are you?
Bye. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. So how's your voice feeling?
My throat feels great. My nose is still stuffy, but like I said, allergy season is rolling in, so it's all good.
That's it. I was talking to someone about they just got actually a head cold and it's lasted like 2 weeks or something. It's just going on and all. So hopefully, yeah, no, but with the allergies, yeah, right now is definitely that time of year for sure. So let's see, who do we got in chat real quickly? I got to say hi. We got, yes, Cassie, there you go. We've got, of course, hi, Sleuth. How are you doing? Hello, hello. Oh, hi, Loco. How are you doing? Okay, butterfly kisses. How you doing, my dear? Oh my God. There's Sherry. To my poor, poor mods, I am so sorry. I'm going to keep trying to play with this during down moments, during videos, but Battissimo is being more of a pain in the rear than Cassie is, and that's saying a lot. That's really, yeah. So, but hopefully it'll solve itself sooner or later. I've unlinked and yeah, whatever. Hello, Rosaling. Yes, exactly. That's me all the time. Hear no evil, see no evil. Yeah, that's it. How you doing, my dear? And Mama Jane, how you, my dear? And Seal's here. How are things going, Seal, with kiddos around, grandkids and stuff like that? PJ! PJ, hey PJ, welcome back, my dear. I swear, I was over at the doctor's office this morning and I popped in to my email and I saw that I had a notification that you had gone live, but I couldn't go because, of course, I'm sitting in a doctor's office. But I'm going to catch replay for sure. Yeah, it makes it hard. I try. So, do you find
Why
yourself
you
trying to
don't?
catch lives
You just don't go to
outside
the
of,
doctor. That's what I do.
yeah,
I
that
just
works.
avoid
That,
it.
oh, girl, you talk about bad. I had my annual GYN type one today. And
Oh
she's like,
boy.
so when was your last pap smear? Sorry if there's any guys in chat. I'm like, oh, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They go check into the laboratory. It's been 11 years. I am so bad. I
Oh
felt,
no.
oh my God, I felt so bad about it. So, yeah, considering my mom, yeah, no, not good at all. So, you're doing better. Best night in a while. Hey, that's good news, Butterfly. Yes, yes, that's good news. Would you guys stop it? So, okay. Well, we've got a couple different things we thought we'd talk about here tonight. Emma Bushes is here. Hello, my dear. Mwah. Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, we were talking going back and forth, and I know one of the things that pops up for all of us on all our channels is whether you're watching or you're doing the channel is there's so many people that we cover and we wonder what happens to them. Okay, it's okay, especially if they're still missing because I feel horrible, Sleuth. I don't know if you've ever gotten that feeling before where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I brought up someone and then I haven't brought them back up in like a month or two and they're
Yeah.
still missing. Yeah.
Yep. And
So,
it's so hard to
yeah.
take the time to actually go back through every single case, especially whenever you cover as many as we do. Like even though you only do it once a week, you still have
Mm.
covered in
Oh, my
comparison
God.
to other true
Yeah.
crime channels. I feel like we have done an overwhelming amount of people in comparison to what you typically see. And so it makes it really hard to go back through and figure out, all of the updates and keep track and really make sure that you actually are following their cases to the end. At least
Right.
I feel like I have that issue.
Nope. That's yesterday after you and I talked, I actually sat down. I have a moderator worksheet for whenever I'm modding for people with all the cuts and pastes. I created a tab just listing everyone that I have done a missing Mondays or special on.
My
And
goodness.
on it, I have were they found, okay, what happened, what's going on, most up to date thing. All I did yesterday for almost an hour and a half was type names. I haven't even
Believe
started
it.
doing the research. It's almost 4 pages long just with
Yeah,
names.
I believe it. Thank God for BC because I swear she has like a photographic memory or something because she'll be like she goes through the new case discussion area and she
Yes.
goes through the we have another one random news, but she'll go through
Mm-hmm.
them and she updates constantly. Like since the beginning of my Discord, she went
Right.
through and updated if they were found or not. And that's just Discord. But then all of my cases that I have covered, it's like she will send me articles and be like, "You covered them," and I'll be reading it sometimes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Did I though? Did I really
Yeah.
cover them?"
Did I? Yeah,
And she's like,
exactly.
"Yes, you did." And then she'll
Yes, you
find me the
did.
video, and it's like 7 months ago, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I did cover
I
them."
did. I
So,
know. Yeah. I was looking at names and I was like, wait, oh my god, I should know this name in the back of my, but there's so many. And having a person like BC, because you're right, BC is just amazing, right on top of things, ideas, keeping a good idea out. Every now and then she'll send me a case, she'll send me a case and say, hey, no one's covering this, you want to pick this one up? And they're always amazing. Oh, she's just awesome. So, but we've got a great community in general that does that. That's what I love, is everyone's looking around for cases and what's going on with them. And I know I just actually spoke with Kay, who I was talking about on Monday, right here, Kay Alana. Actually, it's a great little segue into this. I'm going to actually be talking to her mother probably tomorrow, hopefully, because yeah, she's still missing. Okay, they have had some updates and she's going to share those updates with me. And I know she's talking to some of the other people here in the community. I just sent them my page, the video that I did on Monday, and they sent me something back saying thank you and all that. But yeah, people still out there missing. So yeah, I thought what I'd do is just go through about 5 people. Some of these you may remember, some of them you may not. But it's a great way for us to go back and just refresh ourselves about the cases and them being out there. I did specifically choose people who are still missing. There are quite a few people who've been found, and which is wonderful. But yeah. So yeah, Kay is one that we just talked about on Monday, and I will be honest, something sleuth. This popped up actually yesterday. We were trying to figure out cases for tonight. And I came across another Texas case out of Dallas where a young woman has gone missing, and it's not quite being jumped on because of other issues. Okay, in this other case, it's addiction issues. So the police are like, oh, she's probably out on, okay, a bender or something like that. She'll come around sooner or later. And the family's like, no, this is not, we know her when she has a case like that. That's not what's going on in this case. So I'm probably going to talk about that girl at some point, or I want to do a poster for her. But this is that case, the other case that reminds me so much of it. It's a young woman who went missing after having a manic episode.
mhm.
Um, she's still missing. She could very well be, okay, the pictures you're seeing here are the pictures of her. Okay, the last known picture of her as she walked up to someone's house thinking that it was her house, that she was her friend's house that she was going to go to. Um, Families looking everywhere. They're checking homeless shelters, but she could be pretty much Texas, anywhere around that area. Okay, states around it. Um, but yeah, anything else you had with those types of cases, Sleuth, before I jump from one to the other?
No, it's just like you said, it's frustrating whenever you're covering them, and it seems like it's not that big of a deal because they're adults or they walked off on their own or, and it's just so dismissive. And I just have to sit there and think to myself, like, if this was my missing sister, if this was my missing cousin or family member, how would I feel if people just dismiss the fact that, like, that's my family member that's missing. And so I'm so glad that you are bringing up these few that maybe nobody else would cover them because it's not a clickbait type of case. It's really
No.
not.
No, not at all. Hey, Red Rock, welcome, welcome. Another thing you just mentioned that, and guys, we are going to be going right after we go through these real quick 5 cases. We will be moving on into discussion about Gannon, but something tied to this. One of the things I noticed when we were listening to the trial and all is one of the police officers who deals with the missing was talking about how they took Gannon's case seriously because he was an 11-year-old missing at nighttime, things like that, as compared to sometimes if it was a 16-year-old who may have been having other issues or things like that, they may not have taken it as seriously. And I think that's where we start seeing this area where, yes, like Seal just said, missing is missing. It doesn't matter whether the person has a mental health issue or if they happen to have a drug issue or anything. We know our runaways are in more danger than probably any other group. Hey, Ramblin', how you doing, Ramblin'? So yeah, so Kaylana is one we want to help with. The next one is Kajira. Not sure how many of you guys remember Kajira. Kajira went missing back in February and is still missing. This is
The
the
pregnant one?
pregnant, yep, the
Not
pregnant
anymore,
woman.
though. If she is alive,
Not
she wouldn't
anymore.
be anymore.
Nope, exactly.
Uh, I've been
This
so
was,
worried about her. Honestly, sorry. I am glad that you
no,
brought her back up. I just seen an article the other day, talking about she is still missing, and it's like, where does a 8-month pregnant lady go in the middle of the night or 10 p.m. at night, whatever time it was? It was dark, and she just vanished.
yep. She disappeared out of probably, they were going home after, okay, a weekend or whatever. And they stopped at a fast food place. She got out of the car and they never saw her again. 8 months pregnant, back on February 23rd. Here we are, 2 months later. She should have a 1 month old right now. Okay, think of all those firsts that happened in that first month. Okay, where is she? What's going on? Hey, Tim, how you doing? How you doing, my dear? Hope you're having a good day. So yeah, she's still missing. I know the family is still trying to get the word out. Okay, other people are trying to figure out what can be done. Um, there's no reason for a okay, even if say she was going to disappear, have the baby and come back, she would be back by now. Okay, if it was something she wanted to put the child up for adoption or something like you run all those ideas through your head. She's still missing. And that's what's scary at this point. Okay, don't even want to think about some of the things with that. Crystal. Not sure how many of you guys remember with Crystal. Okay, Crystal actually was the one that was supposed to probably another possible mental health connection. She was actually visiting family and coming home after visiting them. She missed her Amtrak train and decided to hitchhike home. She started hitchhiking. There's video of her at one point, and then there's nothing else. So, our picture of her at one point. So, she went missing from the area of Kelso, Washington, but this was right on the highway, right on the interstate. So, anyone could have picked her up. Okay, if she was hitchhiking, it could have been that
I'm
area, it could have been another. Yeah.
I'm honestly shocked that she hasn't surfaced. I really thought that this was going to be one of those cases where whenever you first covered her, I was thinking to myself, she's probably just somewhere. You know what I mean? Like she's probably just with somebody. But now we are what, 4 months later, and there's still been no sign. And
Yep.
that's not cool.
No. Definitely not cool. And she's got things that you could recognize, tattoos, things on the level, which should be easy. She's not a young woman. Okay. She's 58. Yes, I'm 52. Okay. It's not like we're old, but we're still, it's not the normal 20-odd-year-old that you think of. Okay. You worry about what may have happened on the roads, or did she get hurt? And now she's wandering in homeless shelters or things like that. So Seal Nathaniel has been missing. Yep, that's another one. Hello, Kathleen. Welcome, welcome, my dear. Um, and our last two, this one was Alyssa. I'm not sure how many. Put a one in chat if you remember us talking about Alyssa. Alyssa was last seen last September in North Carolina. She and a friend were actually out driving that day. She went with him as he was driving and doing certain deliveries and stuff like that. And he got into a massive fiery car accident. He was killed in the accident. She was never found. No body. They did find things like her pink blanket right there in the fire wreckage. And however, they have never found her. There's no proof, okay, that she was or wasn't in the vehicle. What there is proof of now is she's not anywhere to be found. So finding that and bringing that story to a close for the family, if it was that she was, okay, whatever happened, if she got out of that van at that truck at some time, okay, maybe someone has seen her and can say, oh yeah, I saw her, okay, in another area. Yeah, just so many that don't get coverage. And this was one of those cases that really threw me because it makes no sense. And the last one I wanted to bring attention to was Madalena. Okay, I know Madalena was one that got a little bit more coverage and it's kind of gone a little quiet. Put a one in chat if you remember Madalena's case, two if this is a new case to you. And then we're going to move on into Letecia after this. Madalena, as many of you guys may remember, she went missing and her mom and Hanai dad is what I would call it, stepdad, did not report her missing until much later. And there's a lot of questions going on. What happened? Both of them were like, oh no, I thought they were with this one. I thought she was with that one. Just a lot of finger pointing and all. Mom has been just a little bit of an update. There's been a lot of, mom actually came from, I think it was Moldova, if I remember correctly. I don't, Sleuth, do you remember? Was it Moldova? That's correct. Okay. Mm-hmm. And from what I hear, one of the most recent things is a lot of people wonder because mom was a mail order type bride. She was came for citizenship and stuff like that. There is some concern that she may have been in the process of working with some not so on the up and up people to get back, to take her and her daughter Madalena back to Moldova. And that could have entailed people in drug dealing and stuff like that. Just definitely not to. It's actually hitting regular media now about that. And one thing that has just happened in the last 2 weeks is that mom is in jail right now because both mom and stepdad did not report her like Haley's law says you should. So both of them are in jail right now. And mom has been found in possession of, I think it was fentanyl. That's adding a lot of other things to this whole picture. Okay, it's going to be hard. On a criminal level, they're trying to make a case that, oh yeah, they don't know about anything and all that, but now you got this going on. Where's she getting these things from? Is she communicating with others? So a lot of different directions. Just that little bit of information is coming. The other thing that came out is if she was trying to get herself and her daughter out, the timing, police are saying, was very interesting because Madalena went missing in combination with leaving for spring break. Okay, there was a weekend off and she just happened to go missing right at that time. So
It was
that's something.
Thanksgiving break.
Thanksgiving. Thanks. Sorry. Did I say spring
I'm
break?
like,
I
wait a
did say
second,
spring break.
spring.
No, not spring break. Not spring break. Oh my God. I wish it was spring break and I need it. But yeah, yeah, Thanksgiving. So she's dead. Hey, Looking Glass Tarot. Welcome, my dear. And so that's something that the police have said seems very coincidental. And when they're starting to put all these pictures together, it's starting to show something that is scaring them a little bit more. So hopefully we'll get more information as time goes on with
Right.
that. Did you have any more information you heard or read about with Madalena?
No, the stuff with Madalena has always been so baffling because she looked like such a happy, healthy young woman. And so the idea of them not reporting her missing at first, and then mom like did all the allegations about being worried about upsetting the stepdad and things like that, and that's why she didn't say anything. It's
Right.
just it's just very, very frustrating because it almost seems as if something happened, right? They're both alleging that neither one of them seen her, but neither one of them also reported her missing. And so that really makes you scratch your head and wonder, are they in on this disappearance together? And that's why they're in jail, both of them,
Yeah.
for not
Yeah.
reporting her.
Till one
But
report.
and
Yeah.
until then, we still don't know where Madalena is, and it's just
No.
been too long. It's been way too
No.
long already.
And it is scary. You're getting a lot of different possibilities out there. Everyone pointing fingers in other directions. Hopefully, someone will speak up. I am going to bring up slowly as we're talking about this a whoopsie. No, you don't want me to do that, do you? And a video that you just brought up for me, which I think will be a wonderful way to start this. But yeah, Madalena, it really is worrying me the fact that from the get go, there were tons of red flags, and we are almost always taught to pay attention to those red flags. And the longer time has gone on, the more those red flags seem to not only be becoming larger, but more. We're getting more and more of those red flags, which worry you tremendously about her well being right now. So, hey,
Yes, sir.
Delana, welcome, welcome, my dear. So, haha, here we go. Okay, so what we've got here, what we thought we'd do today is all of us have been sitting for the last 2.5, almost 3 weeks now, watching
6 weeks for
Letecia's
us
trial.
because we've been
Oh
doing
my
we
God.
did jury selection too.
Yes, you guys did have that too. Yes. So
Mhm.
this has been a lot of ours. And yes, we're talking in chats and stuff about it, but thought we'd just come together, give us all a chance where we can really talk, get an idea what everyone's thinking about what's going on. I know right now we've got the whole thing with the whole DID bit. I have some of my own thoughts on the DID bit because I actually have a very close friend who is DID, um, which kind of gives me a different way of looking at this whole thing, which is even more frustrating. So we've got a video here. We're going to go ahead and start playing this. And whenever we need to stop, chat. If you guys got ideas to we want to talk about that this brings up, Sleuth, just let me know and we will stop at the moment we need to. So
Yeah,
here we go.
absolutely. And I want to say,
Yeah.
D Tim, no, I bought a new computer thanks to how amazing everyone has been. And so the computer shouldn't explode. However, my husband has been like, the laundry pile is exploding. What are you doing? Because I'm here all day with you guys. But you know what? It's been worth it. It's been worth every single minute that I have spent developing relationships with everyone in my chat and just really getting to be able to sit together and listen and be part of justice for Gannon, because I'm going to tell you, like, his case has always affected me personally so much. A lot of you guys know my sister-in-law was right there searching. My nephew was in Lena's class, and so whenever they first went missing, they only lived a few streets away. They were out that very first night searching, helping to look for Gannon. They went to his church. They knew this family personally, and so that brought me in personally very, very early on. And I don't think I could have watched this without the community that we're building. I don't think I could have done it. And so whenever we're sitting there and we are able to mourn Gannon but we are also able to honor his life with the different jokes and things because he was such a happy little man and he just wanted joy all the time. And so we have been making fun of this witch in front of us, or I'm sorry, vampire, I guess I should say. And just having a ball doing it because she just makes it so easy. She makes it so easy to make fun of her.
Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. So, but yeah, no, and what I've just loved coming in whenever I do finally get in. And you hit it on the head. It's a community. The way we talk about vibing. Okay, you guys are vibing in chat. People are helping each other through because it's frustrating. I have wanted to throw things at my computer screen. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating at times. So I bet you've enjoyed it. Your husband will just have to do laundry on his own.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
all.
He'll figure it out.
Come
We only
on,
got
he'll get it.
probably a
He'll
week left.
understand. You got it. By the way, Maud, sorry, I'm still trying to figure out why Battissimo is not working. I'm sorry, my dear, all of you guys, but here we go. Let's start this.
Yeah,
Okay,
could you tell us more about
let
them?
me know about volume.
So I wasn't allowed to go to people's houses in the night, or I was scared to let people come to my house and spend the night because I didn't ever know if he was going to have like an episode. Like when we had like episodes, we'd have to like run into the car and drive around till he passed out and sleep, and then sneak back in the house. So I didn't ever know like if I had friends staying for the weekend. Like I didn't want them to be exposed to that, because people pick on, in school, people pick on, So that around the time I was like 10 or 11, I just started like almost like being able to like take myself out of the situation and let another part of me be the one get molested. And that was when I came up with Harmony. And Harmony can like tell you about the beef and dip. I try not to do it because I've stored it in a place far away. You know what I mean? But so I started let Harmony be the one be molested and not me. Because that way, if my friends ever ask me, like, why come you can't come over? I could create like a perfect picture in my world that you can come over one day, it'll be great, we'll do this, we'll play ball, we'll hang out. I didn't want them to go to that world where they had to know, like, who's living abuse. I was getting molested because my friends would have been like their moms and stuff like that would have been like, you need to tell somebody, you need to do this. So, and I was always scared of losing softball too, so that was like my outlet.
Sure. So you created her.
Mhm.
And it's a personality, so did you create anyone else?
When remember I told you I lived in a trailer, that was in 1996. That was during the Olympics. The U.S. women's gymnastics team that won a gold medal. And that I played another personality doing that. That's Christina Brigana, and she's friends with like Carrie Strug, um, Dominique Dawes, and a bunch of people that are on the team. And like I had the whole trailer to myself, so she would like be able to like create apparatuses and like do like balance beams off stuff, like because every day my mom would be calling, and so that was just the way I would cope with. No, and not knowing if my mom was ever going to take us back there because I knew she would. Every time she said she was never going back, we'd go back.
Okay, I'm going to pause that right there because what's frustrating me right now already is, and sorry, I'm going to get myself on a little bit of a soapbox when it comes to things like DID because people seem to think, oh, DID is what I see on movies and stuff like, and that's what she's trying to get at. Okay, so when I'm seeing messages here, okay, I think it was, who was it? Yeah, Seal, that's not, it's not DID. You don't just make up parts of you, okay, because you don't want to deal with something. That's not how DID works. And the whole fact that she continues, you guys know how I feel about mental health. She's making a mockery of mental health issues in her attempt to try to cover for her behavior. And I'm sure she has mental health issues. I'm pretty sure of that one. But it's fear. She thinks she's so smart. Yeah. She really, I mean, Sleuth, I remember in your live the other day, someone was writing out a list of almost every single mental health issue that she's popped up with, saying that she
Right.
has. It's just
She just,
frustrating.
it is. It's very frustrating. And like you said, she's just making a mockery out of people who actually do have this. And now one thing that I want to point out is the people who do have DID, and we watched a video about this yesterday. I want to say I think it was during one of the breaks. We watched like a video and it was from like 13 years ago, and it showed how real DID will show up on an MRI of your brain if you are able to get the switch happening. Now, T's lawyers, unfortunately, in the last 3 years, were not able to schedule her an MRI in time.
That's the problem with healthcare in the United States. Oh, give me a break. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
like, can we say that was probably planned because they know as well as we do that Letecia Stauch is not going to have DID show up on an MRI if she were to be scanned. Not a chance.
You'd have all the reasons why. Oh, well, I couldn't have the switch happen right at that moment. And that's true. Some people cannot switch on. Okay, they can't. Some people can. And, but still, it's like, give me a break with it. It's kind of like when she went and tried to get a lie detector. Okay, fake results on lie detector way back at the beginning when everything happened. She sits there trying to come up with all these reasons, okay, to protect her. Yet every one of these is just digging a deeper and deeper hole for her. And because I know I've
Oh,
watched her for
she
DID
goes,
type symptoms.
oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she goes on to say in this and throughout this video, because we watched this yesterday during court. This is for anyone who may have missed this. This is it just clipped out and smushed together parts of it. But she goes on to say that she can switch to different personalities, but not to this one that apparently is who did the murder.
Yet she knows that it's that one that did it. And, well, it's
Yeah,
possible
but
that you'd have.
she's able to describe this other personality. She's able to say intimate details that she knows about this personality, but has no control over it or ability to switch to it. And it's like, that's just not how that works. You can't just decide that Maria is part of you and you know all about Maria, but you can't control Maria or know anything about her.
Exactly. Because usually, yeah, okay, in reality, you may have certain alters who know about other alters you don't know about, but usually they're also trying to protect you from those other alters. There's a reason why you don't know about that alter yet. Okay, there's something they hold, and it's not like, oh, we're going to share everything in the world that you need to have shared, but not, no, no. With that comes memories. With that comes everything else connected with that alter. Okay, and you can't tell me that that alter couldn't pop out on their own. They can. Alters can come out whenever they feel like it. And you definitely, you don't
Read
always know.
Melissa Jade's,
Yeah.
because this is the funny part about Maria.
Yes.
She
Yes.
messes
Yep.
up and says that she's from
Thanks.
Russia, but then explains that she speaks Spanish
Spanish.
and she has a Spanish accent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, do you realize that people from Russia do not?
Spanish accents.
Right. Now you know why Brooks and Dunn came to Discord. Listen, I was singing that song all day yesterday. My Maria.
Maria. Oh no, that's another one. Too many Maria songs. And no, it's so funny. And with the amount of stress she's going through and stuff like that right now, she does not realize she's actually gotten herself into a much deeper issue with this now, because all it's doing, every one of these lies that come up and all, is showing that she has the ability to not only plan things, but to plan plans for the plans that fall through. Okay, that's not being insane. When you can make plans to fix the things that fall through, you're not insane anymore. And she's, yeah, in the end, she's destroying a lot of her ability to say, that there's any insanity there, even though I think she is nuts. She's just not certifiably nuts. So she is annoying.
And
There you go.
this is something that all of us have been talking about. Listen, I will totally believe that she is narcissistic. I will totally believe that she has borderline tendencies, right?
Hmm.
I will totally believe that she has other types of personality disorders. Even the psychologist that I had on during lunch the other day said that although psychopath is not an actual diagnosis, there is no thing for psychopath. He believes that she does have psychopathic tendencies, just based off of what we're seeing. And I
Right.
agree with that, But why? Why this? Why would she choose DID of all freaking things? And she literally tells these doctors, so the one on the stand right before the lady that they're playing this video,
Right.
whenever they decided that she needed to go for her competency eval, she told the doctor that she was seeing, she's like, "Well, I'm going to be going for a competency eval and I have DID, so I'm going to start switching personalities soon and being more difficult and things like that." And it's like, are you an idiot? Like, why
Yeah.
would you if you
Yeah,
have DID
exactly.
and you're gonna switch personalities, it's gonna happen. You don't sit there and walk into the room and admit and, like, be like, "Hey, guys, look out, personality
Here we
switch
come. Here we come.
oncoming.
Yep.
Here it
It's like they
is."
rang a
Like, no.
doorbell. The doorbell's been rang. He's coming now. They're coming right now. Oh, welcome. Hit the
Here.
welcome mat and come on in. No, that's
Like,
not
honey, you don't know what you're
it.
doing. And it's horrible because she is making a mockery out of it. And that there are people who actually are dealing with mental health and illnesses and things like that. And that is something that, like, you and I are both very, very aware of. And
Oh, yeah.
so, like, we're not trying to make a mockery out of it whenever we are making fun of her. I'm making a mockery out of her,
Her.
not the
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah. Well, I know in talking with my friend, we've had this discussion before that, for example, DID has this horrible stigma. And it's come from years and years of Hollywood putting forward what DID truly is or is not. And so people are seeing just DID is like many other things. There's a spectrum on how it comes out for people. And this is not helping. Exactly, Ramblin' Rome. This is, she's not helping these people who truly are dealing with it because, okay, my friend, I don't know. I'm thinking there might be maybe 5 to 8 people that she knows that knows she's DID. And I'm one of those because I've known her for so long and I kind of figured it out. But she's been worried. I remember having that discussion with her that she won't tell people about anything because of the fact that people label her so quickly. We think mental health is real, having depression or anxiety or something. Many of these other things, okay, schizophrenia, DID, even bipolar, comes with a much higher negative feel among people. And it's really sad because those people who are dealing with it, who truly need the help and the understanding, are feeling like they're being made fun of, and they're never going to come out and let people know, oh, hey, I'm schizophrenic or I'm DID or I'm bipolar or whatever it is, because they're worried people are going to make fun of them for it
Right. Well,
or
and
think they're
part of the
dangerous.
problem too. Whenever
Hmm.
you think of DID and I think of DID, you might think something completely different since you know somebody who actually has it,
Right.
right?
Right.
Whenever I think of DID, have you ever seen the movie Identity? It's the movie where the guy has 13 different personalities, and one of the 13 different personalities committed a murder. And so they hypnotize him and force all 13 personalities to meet. And the idea behind it is he has one personality that's a cop and one personality that's the murderer, obviously. And so they're trying to get all the personalities to meet. They want the good guy to end up winning in the end and being the personality that survives, right? And so basically they're in this hotel in the middle of Nothingsville and
Right.
they're forced to watch them get killed off one at a time over and over again until they're down to just a few. At the end of the movie, there is this guy, there's a lady, and there's a little boy, and they think the murderer is dead, right? Unfortunately, it was the little boy the whole time. See, just ruined the movie for you. Um, but so the little boy ends up surviving and kills the last 2 people, and now you get this insane guy that they deemed to be insane because he did have different personalities, but they thought that the good
Huh.
guy survived, and so they let him go to a mental hospital instead of jail, and then, of course, the murderer is still alive within him. But that's what I think of whenever I think of
See?
DID. I don't think of, the little minimal losses of times and
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
That's not what I think of. And
Well,
so
I actually, when my friend told me about it, I didn't know what to do. I had no idea because, of course, I'm seeing just what I see on Hollywood. So she actually told me about on Facebook, there's certain groups you can go become members of, and they will welcome in friends and family so that you can learn how to interact, learn how to understand and get the truth and stuff. And I haven't been on that group in years. It's been years. I'm still sub to it and all, or member of it or whatever, but I haven't been in years. And I went back the other day because of all this, just to ask and see how people were feeling about it. And every time things like this happens, and it's not just this, we're talking DID, but like Louisiana girl here said, it's also things like, okay, SA victims, because again, she sits there, okay, and I'm not saying things happen or not. If someone says something happens, I want to believe them. But the problem
gosh,
comes
she
with,
makes it so hard though. I mean,
yes,
after like the 30,000th lie you've heard her tell, how can you believe anything? Anything. Could her stepdad have done things to her whenever she was a kid? Yeah, and I think that mostly because her brother testified about how mean he was and an alcoholic. And so that makes me think, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a possibility there. Um, it's just, but coming from her lips, it just makes it really hard. But then again, she wasn't born this way necessarily. She could have been made into who she is. Nature versus nurture, right? Was she born a psychopath? Was she born narcissistic, or was this something that developed through trauma and through the years? I don't know. I don't know, but
yeah. No, I think it's a good question because that is something. I mean, you look at Harley, okay, you can tell Harley's had to deal with a lot of the behaviors and the personality and the narcissistic personality there. And we've talked before in the past about things such as, okay, narcissistic abuse, reactive abuse, all those different areas. Um, but it does become the thing of the little boy who cried wolf. You say so many lies, and it makes anything you say start sounding like a lie.
right,
And in the end, it just
right,
makes people feel like, okay, when you've got something such as essay or something like that, okay, it takes a lot of guts to stand up and say, yes, that happened to me.
mhm,
And but when you see things that people are sitting here watching stuff, and not necessarily the childhood, I'm talking more the adult portion, okay, where she was saying stuff, and you start thinking, oh, are people going to believe me because this person doesn't look like they're really, it really, it takes away a lot of people's power to speak their own truth when you have people out there speaking that make others wonder, is there truth? Because we do know people will manipulate others, and
right.
unfortunately that happens, and she's a master manipulator. It's what she tries
Oh
to
my
do.
gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see that Seal said that she's not changing her flowers, that she's changing her personalities?
Oh my god,
And that's
yes.
why I cracked up. I was like, "What?" No, she
Yes,
did. I
girl.
wasn't sure. You were like mid-sentence of something serious, and I just started busting up laughing. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if you could hear that or not, but I'm so sorry." That's
I
why I
love it.
laughed.
Oh my God. No, that one's good. That one's good. And also, yeah, well, and see, that's the thing, KK. I feel bad when I even make that comment. I really do feel bad when I make it. But if it's, if I'm thinking it in my head, I guarantee you other people are thinking the same thing.
Listen,
And
I honest to
yeah,
goodness, I think that she thought nobody was ever gonna question her. She was gonna say that Gannon ran away, everything was gonna work out perfectly, Albert was just going to accept that he was never coming home, and they would live their life happy forever and ever with everybody just believing her. Because she really thought she was that smart and that manipulative, and that nobody would ever question her, and it just
right.
didn't happen that way.
Nope. And
She
I think,
she
yeah,
didn't get to do it. Go ahead, sorry.
no, you got no Ramblin's saying is she isn't mastering because it's not working. I think that combined with what Sleuth just said hit it on the point, right on the head there. Most of her life has been about manipulating people to get whatever she wanted out of it. And the problem is you can't manipulate the law as easy. I'm not saying, okay, some people, yes, okay, we've seen trials that you're like, what the hell just happened there? But in general, you cannot, once you're dealing with facts, okay, logic, rules written out, things like that, it's much harder to manipulate. So she thought she could probably keep going through it. Oh, I'll just have a fake lie detector test and I'll just say this and I'll just do that and all these different things and everyone will just accept it. But no, people are going to go looking through it. And that's the thing. This is not a case of did she or did she not. Now, because she's gotten herself in so deep with all the lies, the only way she can get out of it at this point is by people believing she is crazy.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, you can't
And
manipulate
it doesn't
forever.
work. I mean, listen, she's sitting here talking to doctors in this video that we're watching.
Yeah.
And whenever she gets to the part about Maria, you can almost hear like the pause where they're
Yeah.
just like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Uh-huh.
sure you are.
Exactly. You got it. Let's go back to that, in fact, so we could keep playing that and just let me know if anyone wants to stop and discuss anything.
Because I totally do that year, because I had to stay really good in school, you know what I mean? Because my plan was like to get out one day, you know, and do really good, which I did end up doing really good in school. You know, I have a doctorate degree, but like, if it wasn't for being able to use those different, I guess you could probably like personas or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to make it through.
We have Harmony, Christina was the other one.
That was from when I was little. As I got older, there was more like Letecia and there's Taylor and there's Maria. She's protector. They like I don't change the names because you look at like, a lot of my different social medias, they have different names. Person code, different phrase, different one word. You could always tell if you're gonna play telephone because like if I was in Letecia, like Letecia at my ambidextrous, so like I could left-handed and left-handed, and like sometimes people wouldn't understand when I go to the plate, and then be like, hey, you need to hit left-handed, and you need to, like, cause I'd be like a runner, if you know about baseball, if there's like a runner in second and third, they're like, you need to hit left-handed, but if I was in that personality, I couldn't hit left-handed.
We have, as you got older, there was Letecia Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
We said Taylor was the protector.
Yeah, Taylor's my main no, Maria's my protector, Taylor's my main personality.
Thank you. Maria.
Mhm. Victoria is the only personality that I have like empathy in because I store so much of, you know, so much trauma. If you want me to like be like if a friend's talking to me and they need me to give them advice, I have to switch to Victoria to actually probably be empathetic at all. Like severely empathetic, you know what I mean? I just don't have to.
All right. Taylor's the main personality. Maria's the protector. Victoria is the one who has the most empathy and kindness.
And then Letecia, she's bipolar, she would be doing the most, like, you'll notice when I'm on Letecia, actually the psychiatrist the other day came to change my meds, she was doing the most, she's bipolar tech, and she was up for 4 or 5, 6 days at a time, you know, so, I think it's Kepler or something like that.
You're currently on Kelly.
Kep Hilton, yeah. kept from. Because I was gonna put me back on the Zyprexa, but we eat too much on it. I don't like it.
So who are we talking to right now?
Yeah, okay.
Who did she say it was?
When you say Taylor
Letecia.
is the main person,
Sorry, my dogs just thought I was talking to them. What was it again?
Letecia
It was
herself.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. She sits there and says, "Oh, if someone needs this, I just bring this personality out and all that." Well, that would show a huge level of integration and all that she could do something like that. Plus her use of first person pronouns like crazy. It just, sorry. Now, I have seen some people with DID that do use first person, but most people will actually use other pronouns for their alters. So, but so supposedly she could just bring out another personality.
Well, and
Well,
any time that she needs to in life develop a new personality, did you catch
let's
that?
do it.
We could just add to them, right? And
Oh, yes.
actually, the doctor, whenever they were on the stand, they actually start talking about Twilight because the vampires and stuff were all named from Twilight, she tells them. And it's just like it's mind blowing because I don't know. I don't know
My
how or
gosh.
why she thought that this was going to work. I really just
No,
I don't. I just
no.
don't.
Well, you know what? Maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago it would have, but not nowadays. Too much is known about these things. You can't just grab onto stuff like this. It's nuts. So,
personality, what
oh,
do you mean by that?
It's like, okay, so you notice like where Letecia, she's like more like into her like thug life. I guess you can say like rap music, that kind of thing. But Taylor's everything is like Letecia all wanted to be because she gets to be like, yeah, kind to everybody, but like successful. She has a whole separate world, you know. She's married to Tyler. They have kids.
With everything that Taylor wanted to be in, but to get married to Tyler.
No. Taylor is everything Letecia. You got it backwards.
well, let me pause this. We just had a
Yeah,
question. Dawn just asked a question. I'd love everyone's thought on that.
I don't think it's
Okay.
gonna benefit her because I hate my name. I hate it.
Yeah,
And I always wanted to be, something else. And that didn't mean that I have a different personality. I mean, there were years of my life that I would tell people because we went to a new school all the time, right? All the time. Like we went to 13 different elementary schools.
right.
And I had told people at one of the schools that I moved to that my name was Paige. I'm not even kidding because my best friend, whenever I was in kindergarten, her name was Paige. And of course, now I named one of my daughters that. And so now, did I develop another personality at 7 whenever I went to 3rd grade and told people in my new school that my name was Paige? No.
Yes,
I
you
got
did.
busted. I got busted. The teacher was like, "That is that your middle name?" And I'm like, "No."
No, no, I just don't like, well, it's like my mom. My mom actually started putting an E at the end of her first name. And when she was in high school, and she wanted to, when my parents got married, she wanted to keep that E there. And my dad's like, you can't do that. That's not your legal name. She's like, yeah, but I've always gone by it. It's like, it doesn't matter. Your legal name's your legal name. And you know what? I think they've kind of tried to get at the fact that is she asking to be called different names and all? What they're not pointing out is if you're being asked to call, first of all, a lot of times in a family type situation, if people don't know you don't have DID, they're not going to be telling people, oh, call me by this name, because they're trying to hide it for the system. And also, if you've got someone who is all of a sudden telling people that don't know, oh, that they're close to like that, are they acting different? Okay, if they're being asked to be called Billy, who's a 12-year-old, are they acting like a 12-year-old at that time? Okay, are you seeing changes around that name popping up, or is it they just always want to be called that name? Because some people, okay, it's like me, Locomai. I love my name Locomai. Is it my legal name? No. Have I considered making it my legal name? Yes. But yeah, I think she's just trying anything and everything. So, and I think part of the thing also, we don't know what she pushed Harley on over the years either. How much of what was her discussions with Harley before she was arrested being done to set up possibilities? I don't know. Maybe she was never thinking about the DID thing, but you know what? I wouldn't put it past this girl not to be thinking about all these different options before, if she knew she might get in trouble or stuff like that. Or if, for example, they were thinking about running away. I've always thought that she was getting to the point where they were going to actually run. I think that's why they
Saying
had,
they would have
yeah,
done it, but she didn't have her passport, and she
yep,
tried everything she could to get
did it,
documents that
yep,
would let her get her passport, but she couldn't. And I think that like Harley actually testified. I don't know if you've seen her testimony, but they had done this before.
yes,
Albert and Letecia would get into fights, and T would pack up and act like she was leaving. And sometimes they had gotten all the way to the other side of Kansas once. And that's a
oh wow,
long that's a long miserable state to drive through. And then Albert would come and he would convince them to come home. And so Harley didn't think anything of it. She just thought that this was another, you know, crap time that her mom was dragging her across country, throwing one of her fits, you know what I mean? And
right,
she even said that she learned not to question her, otherwise her mom would backhand her in the face.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I feel for Harley. I know there's thoughts out there with her and all that, but I really feel she was emotionally and now we know physically abused. Okay, I mean backhanding combined with all that, she was going through abuse of her own. She was going through intimidation. She was going through all those things. So if Letecia knew that they were going to get ready to run at some point, she may have also been pushing her to recognize new names and start training her to recognize, oh, no, no, this is what I want my new name to be, or things like that. So we don't know. And that's the problem. There's so much that, oh God, my heart goes out to Harley because she's having to go through so much and at such a young age. And she's
Are you
alone.
reading Dawn's comments
You
about
know, I
writing her
wasn't, but
name? She said up above that she writes her she used to write her name sometimes with the W upside down.
oh my God. Well, yes, I missed that one. Oh my God. Oh my God. And the Red Rock, yep. Daughter has changed names at 4. You know, see, that's it. How many of us really like our name that we're given? Okay, growing up, I swear half of my friends hated their names and they
Such a
wanted to
burden as a
change it.
parent. Whenever you have a child, if you had a name that you didn't like, you sit there and you think to yourself, like, but it's so much pressure, like, "Ugh, how do I name this child and know that they're gonna be happy someday with their name?" There's no right answer. There's no way. I will say though, if you're gonna name your kid something weird, keep
Oh
in mind
God.
that they're gonna have to deal with that for the rest of their lives, constantly having to be, "No,
Yep.
it's said like this," or
Mm-hmm.
"No, it's not that," because it sucks. It sucks for that kid. So just keep that in mind. And not only that, in the event that they ever end up on a missing flyer, there is a
Oh God.
95% chance that I will missay their name and you will be listening and be ticked off about it.
Or mistype it and typing up a poster.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Oh my gosh. Allison's, I hated your middle name. My mom spelled it Rena, but pronounced it Renee. I wanted to be more. See, I mean, it's so frustrating with names. I mean, I always hated mine because, well, most people know my real name is Cindy. Okay. And It's just plain, it's not Cynthia or anything like that. It's plain out old Cindy. And I'm like, but why can't I be special like Cynthia or something like, no, no, it's just, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, will the real Delana
Poor,
stand up?
see, but that's another one. Okay, so poor Delana, I say it
Mhm.
wrong every single time because I switch it every single time because I'm
Which,
always like, is it
which one
Delana,
is it?
Delana,
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Delana, De? I don't know.
Delana,
I say
Delana.
it.
Yeah, no, and that's it. How many
And
of
I
us?
know.
Okay.
And I love
Yeah.
her to death, and I know she has told me. She has told me before how to say her name. I have a voice note that I, like, will play of saying it.
Okay, wait. Is
Oh,
it a long A or is it a short A? Is it the Delana or wait, long
Delana.
A or
It's
short A?
Delana.
Lena. Okay, I need see, and that's the thing. You run into those. Oh my God, I feel so bad every time when I made the decision to go with my
No,
Hawaiian name here.
she
I
told
always
me one
felt
time
so
that
bad.
CDT says it right, and so I always go into CDTs, and I'm always, like, listening, and I'm like, say it again, CDT. Say it again."
Oh my, yeah, I need it. I need
Yes,
it. Come
it's
on, let me know
fabulous,
how to say it.
exactly.
Let me know how to say it. Oh my God, yes, exactly. Okay, here we go. While we continue our little name talk, we'll listen on to our dear fun. Hey, Zoomer Mom, welcome, my dear.
Taylor is married to Tyler and have 3 kids, Ariana, Alicia, and Adriano. And just decided to get married, so that would happen, so I think we have each other. It's a real thing, like that each other. But it was to keep from having to do those crazy things that were without custody. We wanted to make sure whatever we did never hurt anything to do with children. So it was good on that, but then early in our marriage, Albert goes to Oklahoma. He's away at Oklahoma, he's away in Colorado Springs for training. And I'm taking care of the kids on his weekends to make sure he didn't lose his weekend. So I would have the kids on his weekend, but he would be in Oklahoma and he'd be in Colorado Springs. So like a lot of our marriage, I'd say 85% of it, we never even lived together. We never lived together until Colorado, like officially lived together. Because yeah, that was when we moved to Colorado Springs, because we moved to Colorado Springs in March, but he didn't come yet from Alaska. And I had got the kids in school and stuff, so we really didn't live together. And so I started working at French, and I got back from probably graduating high school, and then we had all went on a cruise. So really, it was August 2019, and we actually like lived together. So it was more of like almost like a convenience. Like I feel like the marriage of convenience was I did everything for the kids. I took care of the kids. You know what I'm saying? I worked and we could buy whatever we wanted because we both had really good incomes. And I know that whatever, but that's the truth. You know, that's what it more so like.
When you started dating Albert, were you still living in North Carolina?
So this was South Carolina.
Living in South Carolina?
I was living in South Carolina.
You know what gets me with this is sitting here talking about the relationship. Okay. You know, that's what a lot of relationships are, especially when you're dealing with military type things, moving, stuff like that. You have one person moving on while the other's finishing up. You've got all these things. That's my mom. There was many times in my life my mom was the main caregiver because my dad was in the military. Okay, and I wonder how much of her stuff is she wanted all this attention on her. And when you're the only adult in a household, the attention is not on you. The attention is on the children. That's where it should be. That's part of raising children. And I wonder how much of everything that was going on was just jealousy that she was not getting the attention she wanted and everyone else always got it. I don't know, just me throwing out ideas now.
Did you and Albert ever have any problems?
No, like, okay, so our mom is a nurse practitioner for a psychiatrist. A lot of extensive experience in psychiatry. They would constantly tell Albert, I need to be on medication or I need to be doing this throughout our whole marriage. You know what I mean? So that would cause a lot of problems. Like even if you look at the report that she wrote to police before I got arrested, she talks about, in there about, one minute I'm this way, one minute I'm that way. You know what I mean? So like basically was married to him and her. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't necessarily a lot of physical. There was not, any physical abuse. It was a lot of emotional abuse. He's a narcissist. So, he's the victim and everything. And he took advantage of my mental, sometimes I way my mental status would be, and like go to his mom about it, and they'd all try to like, tell me I need to be on this meds, or I need help for this, or I'm crazy, So it was more so mental and emotional. There's never any physical up until the end. When we got custody of the kids, he thought I was in cahoots with her, which I guess you can kind of say I was. Because if you look at my phone record, you'll see my plan was leaving, but I didn't want to leave the kids. There were messages you could see me say, I don't want to leave the kids because I know they would get taken care of. So we had custody of them. But their mom, she started dabbling in drugs, but she wasn't ready to get the kids back yet. So my plan to her was always like, I'm gonna let you know right before I leave. You better have a house, you better have everything together, and then I'll help you get the kids back to the lineup. So when he found out that what he called it, was in cahoots with her, that's when he started getting violent and aggressive, like throwing lamps in the house, there's a video on my phone they have where he stopped the car, because I record it all the time, because I wanted to keep all that evidence for Landon to have. And he's beating the piss out of Gannon, and he's flinging stuff like irate because he thinks we're all in cahoots against him to get the kids back. And he's like, you're just trying to take the kids from me. You're trying to get them back to their mom. So once I got the Colorado Springs and we lived together, that's when it became like that. There was no kidding me with his hands. It was just flinging stuff in the house, being angry, slamming doors, punching doors. Like he would get like that because he swore down I was working with her. I mean, which I guess you can see it as me working with her, but I felt like if I left, they weren't going to be taken care of. Like he's going to do schoolwork. He's going to make sure they're clean. Nobody, he wouldn't. So he doesn't have that nurturing piece or that ability to multitask or none of those things. So in a way, I was kind of working with her to get the kids back home, but I guess he took that as me going against him.
Interesting with that. I know Sleuth has a little issue going on also, but I know a couple things are popping up in chat. And I think, Seal, what you shared there is interesting. So her mom made a post about her sister being blessed that T locked her in a trunk when she was little. And I'm listening to a lot of what's being said, and you almost can see where I'm sure a lot of how much of the stuff that she's talking about having happened was something that may have happened as a child or stuff she has done. And she's saying it as, oh, in a truck, not a trunk, truck. That makes more, actually, either would make sense, but yes. And because I think of it, how many times you hear people when they're talking, they will always point out all these things that a lot of times they themselves do, but they'll try to put it on other people and on, especially if you're a narcissist, because it's all got to be about them and everything. So I'm just sitting here looking at all these things. Yeah, Delana, no kidding. I'm like, my coffee did not work. I had coffee ready, but I definitely need something a lot stronger than that for sure. So, but yeah, no, she's definitely exaggerates, exactly, Seal. Exaggerating, putting other words, okay, about others, words that other people may have said to them, okay, because they've mistreated other people. Now they're going to use those words, but act like they're coming from them instead. And you can almost see it with her where she's sitting here also making herself look like she's the good person that's doing all this work to help save everyone in the family, and she's the one there for everyone, stuff like that. So yeah, okay, Carrie, that's perfectly saying it right there. There's so much truth in her lies. And that's exactly, you start seeing it sooner or later, you start recognizing it.
Yep.
It's always someone else's fault, it's never their own. Welcome back, my dear. I hope everything's
Yes,
okay.
sorry.
No
Yeah, no, it was
worries.
just she was having one of her moments,
Oh, poor
That's
baby.
part of her digestive issues and stuff that she has, sometimes that happens.
You got it. You got it. So,
So,
but yeah, no, this whole idea of being the martyr, seeing, okay, she's perfect. I'm the one who's helped. I've been there for all the other kids. I'm going to make sure they don't go home until everything's perfect for them. And yet, we can see with like Harley and all where she is being, okay, probably verbally, emotionally abused, has been slapped across the face, according to Harley. Okay, of course. But yeah. And any other thoughts before I start it up again?
no. You guys are doing awesome discussing in the comment section, though.
They're
Great job,
awesome.
everyone.
I was doing what was right for them, she, I believe.
And so the kids would have been his two kids.
Right, right. If you look at our school paperwork, who always talked to, up until he realized what I was doing, that I was collecting evidence to get the kids back home to her. Because she had already promised me that I could see the kids whenever I wanted and care about them, like that she would not take them out of my life. She had already told me that. And so like once I started collecting, he would notice I'd be driving down the road and I'd have the phone on. And I'd just start collecting everything. Because I'm already a paranoid person. But I knew like if I start collecting stuff, like I would have it to give to her for everything. Because I wanted her to get a sobriety first, get a home, whatever. And once he noticed I started doing that, that's when it got a little bit violent with him speaking. I was trying to set him up and take the kids from him. Like, his weren't paranoia. His was just because he knew I was right with him. He knew that everything I was collecting was preparing for when I left. Because if you even look at my phone searches on the evidence, you'll see that, like, I was like looking for a place to stay. I was like getting everything in order. I had already told Gannon, like, on Wednesday, I'm going to call your mother and tell her what's going on, but we gotta wait till Wednesday. The reason I said wait till Wednesday because I was starting that flight attendant job and I wanted to make sure that everything had went through my flight attendant, that I had been like officially hired. I was going to the training, everything before I said something to her that, hey, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Here's our plan. This is what we're going to do to get the kids back. They wanted to go with me, but I told them, I was like, don't charge me with kidnapping. If you don't call the country, we got to have a plan, so. But that was
That's
always
an
the plan.
interesting way to put it. It's interesting to think how often, and she does this throughout so much of her questioning and stuff. Oh, okay, or making comments to people. Okay, don't charge me with kidnapping. There's all these thoughts that show she knows right from wrong. Because someone who does not know right from wrong is not going to be saying comments like that because they wouldn't realize there's a difference. And then
Exactly.
even when she was talking to people before people knew Gannon was even gone. Well, he was missing. Okay, he was not dead at the time, and they were still thinking he was alive. She's sitting there making comments to people about don't think that I'm a murderer, stuff like that. Okay, she knows. It's You just got to listen to her. She tells you her truth. You just got to listen for it.
Yepers. And she's always been like that. I mean,
Mhm.
going back to the Facebook groups, like I was in there. I was in the Stauch support group. Yep, I was one of those. And she would just come in there and just talk and talk and post and post and post. And it was just like, why? What are you doing? And she's literally going to go down as the dumbest criminal in history that thought she was the smartest. I mean, there are people that do these heinous acts and things like that, and they don't hide the bodies. They don't try to get away with it. They don't, and you think, wow, what were they thinking? But then she really thought that they would never find Gannon. And let me be clear, they almost did. It was very,
Yeah.
very much so a blessing that they did find him.
Right.
But she really thought that if they never found him,
She
that
was
she was
lying.
just going to be able to lie her way out of it, and that everybody was just going to believe her. Forget about the blood in the corner of the room that seeped through the carpet, through the 1-inch padding, and still left a circle on the
Mhm.
concrete slab underneath.
Yep.
Like, you can't lie your way out of it. They're not going to think that that was a nosebleed, you idiot.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Exactly.
come on.
No. She'll try her things, and like you said, okay, they could have easily never have found him. That bridge is inspected once every 2 years. Okay, it just so happened it was inspected within just a couple months of him being placed there. Otherwise, it could have gone up to 2 more years, and
If
God
he
knows
would
what
have
would have
hit the
happened.
water, if
Mhm.
he would have hit the water, his body would have been gone.
Gone. Yep.
And literally, we're talking feet away from where he was, flooded constantly. And it flooded, like, I want to say it was like 2 weeks after he was found, that whole area flooded. Like, the water was up to the bridge. And so he would have been gone. It was literally God that gave us Gannon's
Yep.
body.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep. And yes, there's a lot of information there. It's like cases like Ariel's and okay, the West Boys and all that, that you can pull enough information where you hope you'll be able to get a guilty verdict. But just by having it, just it makes sure that those little questions that might be left there aren't there anymore. So yeah, we were yeah. God was looking out to make sure that, and also the family. Okay, he's got his dad, mom, he's got siblings that can now visit him. So yeah. Um Honor says being questioned about that blood and saying that has nothing to do with him missing drove me. Oh yeah. Yeah. And she kept hoping. Okay, she's one that I would almost see her saying things and holding her fingers behind her back. Oh, I have both my fingers. Yeah, no. Yep, God was looking out, Jet's mom. Ooh, and I like those little emojis, those little puppy emojis, even though they don't show up when I do it that way. But they're cute. Wrigley
See, one
likes
thing
being
that has
used.
come out, one thing
No,
that has come out with all of this, with everything that
yeah,
we've heard through this trial, because I have always thought, in my opinion, that something happened Sunday night. She felt like whatever it was going to cause Albert to leave her. And so she went into cover up mode. You know what I mean? And from that point, planned to kill him and things like that. And then he didn't die. And so she did this brutal murder. Right.
yep,
But now, listening to everything and how much she references the hike, how much she references, whatever happened with that candle incident and things like that, I think she probably would have pushed him off a cliff during that hike if she would have got a second alone with him. I think she had been
probably.
planning for that whole weekend to kill him in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form that would make her a martyr and make her the victim in all of this.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Even
yeah.
the candle fire, like they said that a candle would not have done that. They sat on the stand and told us, no, that was not a candle that lit that floor on fire. So what type of accelerant or what did she do to light that candle, to light the carpet, to light the blanket? Was she going to burn down their house with Gannon asleep on the couch right there so
Got
that
the
she would lose him in a fire?
hydrocodone or whatever in him. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Yep.
there's so many things. Like, it just infuriates me. Like, I don't understand. And I guess I will never understand, right? So I guess
Mm-hmm.
in a way
And
that's a
that's
good
good.
thing that my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But it just, to just sit here and lie and lie and lie. And I know she is enjoying it. The only time that she's not enjoying court right now is when she knows she looks like a buffoon. but she has sat there and smiled through pictures
Yeah.
of this child's body.
Oh,
She
yeah.
has sat there and smiled through them describing the crime scene and how they think it happened, but then
No,
hides her face for videos like this one.
mm-hmm. No, she's a total narcissist. Okay. Whatever happened that led up to that, okay, I don't think it was a last minute rage thing. There was planning going on with this. Okay. Now maybe not months and months of planning, but I think there definitely was planning over, okay, a couple days, 1 or 2 days. And there's just too many things pointing in that direction. And when you've got a narcissist, you could totally see where someone would try to do whatever happened so that they could be the focus. And to be honest, having a child that goes missing for a narcissist sickens me that people would even think this way, but you know good and well, okay, they become the focus of all the attention at that time. They get
Right.
all of the pats on the back and, oh, it's going to be okay. But the
And that didn't
moment
happen.
people turned,
It
exactly,
all
people
went to Landon, and she hated it. She hated it. And you
Mhm.
can tell how much she hated it because in some of these calls and stuff, whenever she starts talking about Landon, you can hear like
Yes.
the jealousy is just seeping out of her voice and anger.
Mhm.
And it's just infuriating.
Yeah. Well, it's like the
The
interview. Yeah,
voice
sorry.
message of Gannon's burn,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
from that Sunday night.
Right.
The candle incident, what she put out on the internet to us, had that part clipped out.
And but yeah, you look at the whole thing, okay, even to the point where when that interview with her back to us, okay, and when he goes and asks her, is there anything else you want to say? Well, she has her first comment, then she's like, oh, wait, can we redo it? Because she realized that that first comment was going to make her look even worse than she already was looking. So then, okay, the first time was her real emotions. Okay, poor me. Okay, when we find him or when something happens, everyone's going to go him and I better be getting an apology and all this other stuff. And yet she realizes, oh, that's going to get me in trouble if I say that. So I need to redo it and cry and stuff like that now. But then, of course, I still say back is to the camera mainly for one reason. She didn't want people to be looking at her facial movements, being able to read her face, be able to read her body mechanics and stuff like that. So, yeah, so much with all those. Let's see. I still think she gave him the hydrocodone so he wouldn't wake up and he was supposed to burn it. I think that's actually a pretty good gut feeling there. Okay.
Yeah, tried to
Yeah.
drug him.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
exactly.
was blood splatter 6 feet up his
6 feet.
wall.
6 feet up the wall, and that came from a nosebleed. No, 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 no. I mean, no nosebleed I've ever seen would ever do anything like that. So,
It just enrages me, and I can't even imagine being his parents and sitting there and so calmly. Like every now and then you'll see them reach up and wipe away a tear or whatever, but like I couldn't do it. There's no way I
mm-mm.
could sit feet from her
No,
and be just so calm.
no, no.
I God bless them because
Yeah,
and I know they want to make sure they don't miss it. They don't want to be sitting there watching on WebEx.
no,
You know,
no.
they don't want kicked from the courtroom, and so that's why they're doing it. They're seeing it
Mhm.
out for Gannon and for their boy,
Gannon.
but
Yeah.
whew,
It's honoring Gannon. But you look even, okay, her brother. Her brother gets up on the stand and you feel for everyone because there's so many people who have been hurt by this, by her actions, her selfishness. And you could see that in him, just how upset he was. And these are the first time many of them have seen her in how long? And all those emotions just come to the forefront. And for some people, they're going to spill out. And then you get into the whole thing. I know it's not in this video here of her flipping off people and stuff like that. I mean, I swear she acts more like a child than a second grader would act. It's ridiculous.
right?
Yeah.
Louisiana girl, thank you, hun. Honestly, if you're there for lunch, I would love it. Mostly because who knows how I'm gonna be, but whenever I wake up in the morning. Um,
Yes.
So talking through lunch would absolutely be wonderful.
Yeah, I hate these things that happen because it's what 4 hours difference. So about the time I'm going to sleep is when you're getting ready to go live about an hour later. It drives me crazy. So okay, let's go. What we got about 3 minutes.
whatever they
Okay.
want to call it. But my plan was to make sure I know that Rhonda and Matt would take care of that.
Good night,
Randa's
Ramblin'.
mom and dad. And as long as they, because when I was in South Carolina and I had the kids, they were the only two people that helped me with anything. I had by myself, so I knew they would be safe with them. Whatever I needed to do to prepare them to have them, that was the method I was taking. So
And about how many months, maybe before this alleged defense happened, did things take that where he really became aggressive?
I know it sounds minimal. I've created so many different personas in my life and so many different ways to cope with everything I've been through. The sunlight is one of them. Like being in somewhere warm, being somewhere where I can use those coping skills to help me when I have a flashback, when I wake up from a nightmare, so I tried to talk to him about it. And I said, hey, Colorado and me just don't, like it's causing me to get worse mentally. I was having more of my manic episodes. I was just like having more episodes where I forget and lost of time. And a lot of it was because I didn't have those coping skills. Like you can't play softball here in Colorado. You know what I mean? Not during the months that I'm used to playing back home. And so, all these skills
I don't know, Seal. I'm not sure. Sleuth, did she say personas or
Said
personalities?
personas.
She did say
Personas.
personas. Aha. So, yep. So the other thing there. Well, and I have to say, you know what? For everything Colorado actually has more days of sunshine than most other states. It's cold, yes, but they actually have a lot of days of sunshine. So once you get in that, cray, you know what? I am going to have to figure out a way to do. I've been thinking about doing a stream teaching people how to make leis because I did one for Robbie's Robbie's wedding. And this is actually a lei needle. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. But I've been trying to figure out a way now that you guys are in spring where you guys can go out and pick some flowers and I can teach you guys how to make a lei. So off subject, but yep, she just admitted that she created personas because there's a huge difference between the two.
Well, and here's the thing, she's saying that she's doing it because of the sunlight in Colorado is messing with her. And yes, the sun is huge in Colorado. I've been there. I've been to Colorado Springs. Like I was actually there just 2 months before Gannon went missing. And the sun is huge. The moon, like it feels like you can like reach up and just grab it. Like they're so close because of the mountains and stuff. But guess what? It's super sunny in Myrtle Beach too. Like it's super sunny at the beach. And so her sitting here saying like, how Colorado wasn't such a good fit and she couldn't play softball like she wanted to. She couldn't do the things she wanted to do. This is all about her and why things were triggering to her because it wasn't what she wanted. And so of course she's looking for another way, just like she did with Alaska, to get Albert to get thrown out of his position or to have something happen to get so that she can go back to where it's convenient and life is good for her.
It becomes about a control factor. Okay, she was never going to be happy no matter where they went, to be honest. Okay, because there will always be something, because the moment he would get comfortable wherever that would be, she would come up with a reason why, because it's control and someone being comfortable. Okay, if you've got to be in control and have people depend on you, then you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that person needs you in their life. And hey Mel, welcome, my dear. And she is pure. She married her guy, but was mad because he had kids. Yeah. And Yes, Jet was born on Maui. Yes, he was. He was. Okay.
Do it over time were taken from me in Colorado. So when I got here officially in August, it was weird because I had to do outside duty work too. For teaching, to have like outside duty, stuff like that. I was freezing in September, and I was like, I wanted to do something else or let me go be a flight attendant where I could do more sometimes. And I'll set my schedule where I'll be with the kids a few days a week and I'll be a flight attendant a few days a week.
Does she realize as a flight attendant, you go where you're told to go, even if it's freezing cold and raining there all the time?
No, no,
I
no,
mean,
Lokamai. She
oh,
was
come
only gonna
on.
fly to tropical places where she could be on
Exactly,
vacation.
exactly. Oh, and then we've got the whole thing, you know what? Just come to Hawaii where you're only freezing half of the year. Of course, it's 71, but for me, that's freezing. So, yeah, it's all how you look at it. Oh my God, this girl drives me crazy. Totally drives me
Because I
crazy.
knew mentally I needed that outlet because I'd used it all my life. That's when he took offense to it of like, if you're gonna be a flight attendant, there's nobody gonna be here to watch the kids. And I was like, I'll be here on these days, but these days I want. So that was around September, October of 2019. Because I had applied for a flight attendant job and I was supposed to start it the next year because they only have like a waiting list or whatever. That's when it got like that when he saw that I was actually going to be leaving or be gone part time. He can't operate without having someone do everything. So that's
Oh. You know, I'm sitting here looking at this is supposedly that's the end of that video. A very educated woman, okay, lots of knowledge, understands, has PhD, all these things, and nothing wrong, okay, with being a flight attendant. Okay, I've got 3 friends right now who fly, okay, and with Hawaiian Airlines, and it's a great job. And all, but number one, she's so many other things she supposedly can do, and yet this is the direction she wants to go, somewhere that doesn't match anything that she supposedly has all these expertise with. It's just frustrating beyond all. Yeah.
She just
KK's up.
wanted sorry, no, she just
Mm-mm.
wanted the life that they had before Albert took custody of the kids. She wanted to be able to go and be free and everything else, and she thought, "Hey, maybe if I get a job where I'm away from home and he has to pay for childcare, maybe he'll send him back with Landon." But see, Albert was scared to send him back with Landon full time as long as Mike was still living in the house, and I totally get that. And the crazy part about all of this is, like, it was a month or 2 before Gannon went missing that Landon and Mike officially split. And so Mike was still kind of in the picture, but not, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
whenever, because like he was still able to message on Facebook and was still like freaking out on Facebook about Gannon too.
right,
But
right,
they had actually been separated. But as Albert, I could see where he would be concerned to send them back full time with Landon with the possibility that her and Mike could get back together. Because the whole reason they went with Albert to begin with was because Mike was a domestic violence.
right,
He was an
right.
abuser. He was into drugs. He was doing all these horrible things, and that's why the kids went with Albert to begin with.
Mhm.
That's why whenever the visitation was in place, it was for visitation to take place at Landon's mom's house, not with Landon, because they
Right,
didn't want the kids around Mike alone. And
right,
so all of that was for the children's protection. And so here's T thinking, oh, I can manipulate this situation and try to force his hand
right.
by sitting here, and I'm going to get this job away from home. And so now you have no choice to either hire a sitter and trust a stranger or send your kids back to their mom.
Right. No, exactly, exactly. I could totally see that. Looking at what Mel is saying here, fun fact, interesting, you'll have to tell us about this, Mel. Fun fact, myself and a few other women's created a Letecia support group to encourage her to talk. It was watched
At the
over by
T Stauch support
investigators.
group.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, yeah, you'll have to let us know because we do know, and it's really interesting how the police were utilizing, okay, everyone from Landon talking to her on the phone
Mhm.
to the different, okay, support group things to see what she might say if she came in and said things. It's as if they realized that she was, as we said, a narcissist. She was going to continue talking.
Yep.
The more you could get her to talk, the more you were going to get out of her. And as long as you didn't come straight out and tell, okay, stop it all by saying, yeah, you did this, she was going to continue saying everything. She loved to talk. Yeah, Mel, exactly. What was the name of that group? And Mel, it'd
Mm.
be interesting to
I'm
see if it's the one.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna assume it was probably the Letecia Stauch support group. T Stauch support group, I think is what it was
It's
called. Where she would
interesting.
come in and she would talk as Peyton Marie.
Could be. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I agree. You know what? Law enforcement, like any business in general, okay, you look at certain areas and they have skills, they have ways of doing things that can really do good teaching for others. And they actually did a pretty good job from what I've been seeing with T. Okay, they figured her out personality wise. Oh my God, could you see being law enforcement in this case? Trying to deal with her phone calls, with her, oh my God, would have driven me nuts.
And we only
Absolutely.
heard 16. And they said that there is numerous, countless amounts more. And I mean, and then you start getting into the jail calls. If they were really
Yeah.
going to start playing those are all recorded too. But she never shuts up. So how, at some point, you got to limit the evidence.
Well, and that's it. That's it exactly. You do have to at some point say, okay, you know what? You give too much evidence, it actually becomes frustrating, probably for the jury too. Okay, because they've got to understand the stuff. It's not enough just to have evidence. You have to really understand what's going on there. And the more she tries to manipulate people, okay, the more you give, the more confusing it becomes. So definitely. She loves to talk.
Yep.
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
really curious to see who their last witness will be. Because so far at the end of each week, whenever they're getting ready to
Yes.
go on break, they have left us with bombshell
Big
evidence
time.
that really just leaves you thinking. And so now I don't know who the last witness is going to be because there are so many people left on that list still. And I don't
Right.
know if they're going to do Lena or Landon so that it's an emotional tie back to Gannon, back to the
Right.
trauma, or if they're gonna hit us with, like, a bombshell doctor moment, you know what I mean? With, like, a video or something. So I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to tomorrow to see who their last punch at tea will be.
Exactly, exactly. Because I think, yeah, definitely if there is another big scientific side, but I don't know if they're, well, we don't know what they have. Definitely the emotional side, I think, always grabs it.
Right.
Okay. Last week was more emotional, if I remember right. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope it's
And,
not Lena, but
oh God,
I hope I would
what?
think that Mike Allen, just being who he is, would keep her off the stand if he can,
Yeah.
right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, there is about 3,000 questions in everybody in the world's mind about what happened Sunday night.
Yeah.
What happened Monday during the cleanup and stuff? Was she acting normal?
Yeah.
Lena was the only
Uh-huh.
person that had interactions with her minutes after she killed Gannon.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that one, yeah, how they would go ahead and set that one up. That's what actually, Allison, that's what I was just thinking about in my head. Would
They
that
would play
be
a
a
video of her.
recorded? Yeah,
Well, they said that
because
there was one last witness that they were going to have, that they were going to introduce a couple different pieces of evidence with. So I'm not sure. Because, I mean, if they have her come on the stand, all she would have to say
oh,
is,
poor baby.
"Yes, that's me in the video. Yes, this was my testimony," and they would probably let her get back down. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
That's true. That's true. And that wouldn't be too bad because otherwise, for her having to sit there, because we've already seen how T has tried to interact with
Right.
people, okay, you know good and well what she would be trying to do, and the
Right.
intimidation would be crazy. Um, and then there's the question about what do we think with T? Is she going to end up on? Okay,
I don't know.
is she gonna?
I go back and forth
I do too.
because I think she doesn't want to ever shut up, right? And I think that she feels like she could probably get up there and talk her way out
Yes.
of it. But at the same time, you see, even whenever the judge is asking her questions, she tries to answer as quietly as possible to make it kind of as difficult as possible to hear her and things like that. And so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think she wants to, and I think if it's her say, she will be there.
Right.
Okay, even if she goes quiet and all, I think the ability to be the focus of everything at that moment, because put it this way, flipping people off, things like that, was her attempt to be the main focus of everything.
That's true.
Okay, it's what it comes down to. She wants to be the main focus. The thing comes down to this: can her legal team get her to say, okay, maybe this is not the best thing?
Right.
Because that's the problem. It's not the best thing. But
Right.
does that matter? We've seen
Oh,
how
but it
many
would be
other
hilarious.
cases. Oh my
Sorry.
gosh. It would be, oh my gosh, would it be hilarious? It would be nuts. You know, the more I think about Lena, that might actually be. Wow. Yeah, I could see that being
I just don't
the
know. Like, I
final.
know that we have this doctor that was on yesterday will be
Mhm.
back on, and they have an hour and 20 minutes, I think he said, of footage that they're going to play. And then he said after that he only has one more witness, and he said that he would be introducing a couple pieces of evidence. And so it looks like the defense team, or the judge asked him about how long does he think, and he says, well, that'll depend on cross, right? And how long the cross takes, but potentially finishing up tomorrow, as early as tomorrow afternoon, and or, handing it over by Monday. Dr. Lewis is what they were worried about, and she was flying in on Saturday and flying out on Wednesday, which would
Right.
make sense. That would work because, they could have her on the stand Tuesday or Monday evening,
Right.
whatever. So,
Right. That'll be interesting. What's crazy is I know I'm going to wake up and all these questions will be answered.
right?
And
At least
it's
you get to
gonna
sleep through it.
exactly. And make Anna Rose wish they would make her keep her hair up. She shouldn't be able to hide. You know, actually, there's a good point behind that, because how many people use their hair as a way of hiding the
Right.
truth? And they know it's to go right back to that interview. Okay, if I can do it from the back, she knows enough to realize that hiding herself makes the difference in what people see. So that's a
See, but I think it's
good
kind of
point.
backfiring on her because we're
It
all
is.
well aware of the things that she chooses to look at, but doesn't choose to look at some things.
Right. Exactly. And yep, Seal, you guys are going to be up early, and I don't want to keep you guys up too late. So we'll probably start wrapping this one up. Oh, Allison, I wonder if Landon is the witness and they introduce the video of Landon. That's a possibility.
Right.
Yeah, because I could see both of them being.
Either way, like,
Yeah.
my only thing is, if we are talking about the moments that she killed Gannon, I mean, she killed Gannon around 2:45. Lena was off the bus half hour later. Like, she was the first contact with T right whenever this happened. The time frame in question. Did she act normal? Did she act like a different personality?
Behavior. Yeah.
And so that's the only part where her testimony could become a big deal.
Yeah.
But she was 8. She's only 11.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's
What
where
does
the
she
concern comes
remember?
in. And what
Yeah.
would she be too nervous to say with
Yeah.
T sitting
Yeah.
right there?
Oh
And
yeah.
so I think Mike Allen would probably hesitate to
Yeah.
put her on the stand because of how good of a guy he is. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's just a stand-up guy. And ultimately they don't need it. They don't need her testimony, I don't think, because of how much other stuff they have.
Right. I'm thinking even if they did, and with what's going on, looking at it, okay, you're going to see one of two things. If there was another personality involved, okay, she's either still, that personality is still in the driver's seat, okay, and you would probably recognize it. Or if she's switched back out to her main personality, you're going to see a major confusion there, because in theory, if you've ever talked with someone who's DID coming out of something and not knowing, okay, what it is that happened while you were out, you would see something. You, whether this is a secret or not, and that's why I don't even know if they need it, to be honest, because I think
No.
it's such a joke that that's what's going on. Rosalind, you're still up, my dear. Love you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mel, I think T would take the stand herself. The thing is, how much control do her team have over her? So
Say the
I
judge
agree.
flat out read her all the information about if they should or not, you know.
Yep.
He read her all of the, you don't have to take the stand, it's your choice, your lawyers
Yep.
can't stop you if that's what you decide, blah blah blah. Like, we heard all of that. So
Yep.
ultimately, if she wants to, she'll be up there.
It's her choice. It's just whether or not she's smart enough to realize it's not a good decision. And I agree. I don't think they need, I think it'd give them the emotional
Right.
bang for the end of the week, but I don't think it's needed necessarily. I think Landon might be the smarter move, to be honest. I know from a drama point of view, people be like, oh my gosh, yes, getting to, okay, here, okay, getting to see her come up would be the best thing, okay, on a drama level. But this is a young girl who's having to live through so many nightmares at such a young age. She does not need one more to add on top of all
Agree.
that.
I agree.
And all, so, but yeah, so.
So.
Any other
All right, well, I
last
guess we
thoughts or
better all go to
anything?
bed.
Yes,
That
it's
way
a
we
night.
can get up
Oh,
and
I got to show you guys
finish
these.
work. Yes.
Everyone talks about Ohana and all that for this channel. I was playing around. Look at the diamond painting coasters I found.
Oh my gosh, those are so
Aren't they
cute.
the cutest? I've got like 8 of them. This one I'm getting ready to start next, but I've got a whole set here, and I'm like having so much fun. KK's doing painting, diamond painting coasters too. So, but anyhow, thank you, Sleuth. You are the bomb. I love our Wednesday, Thursday nights, depending on the week. But yes, I love it when we get to hang out like this. So thank you so much, my dear. And
Thanks everybody who came over.
yeah. Yes, everyone who came over, thank you guys so much. Those of you who popped in, those of you who, any new subs, thank you guys so much. Cassie, are you trying to say goodbye? You're scratching my back. I can tell that. So good night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Well, at Sleuth's channel tomorrow morning, and then I'll be doing Mental Health Live tomorrow night and Cantina after that. So love you, love you. Yes, exactly. Love you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. Aloha,
Night, everyone.
goodbye, and mahalo.